Hi students, we are going to practice solving a system of equations using the graphing method. So I just took these problems right off of your check for understanding, or check your understanding question packets. This problem is 1A, and we have a system where both equations you can see are in slope-intercept form. So just as a quick little reminder, y equals mx plus b. This is your y-intercept, and this is your slope. So we can see we have two equations here. They're both all ready to be graphed. So I'm going to go ahead and graph these in different colors, and I would definitely recommend that you pause and try this if you feel like you're able to do that, or if you want to watch the first time through and then try it on your own. Definitely doing this is going to help you. The more practice you get, the easier this will hopefully become. So this first blue equation, we're going to start with a point here up at 1. So that's my initial value. And then I look at my slope, and it says go up 1 and right 3. So I count up 1, 1, 2, 3, and make my next point. And I can continue up 1, right 3. I can also go down 1, left 3. And you see we have that same slant. Okay, same slope. So I'm going to go ahead and just sketch in my line. Okay, and we'll put arrows because it's going to continue forever. All right, now let's go ahead with the pink line. So the pink line says start up at 11. That's my initial value. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11 is up here. And on your paper, if you're following along with that packet, there wasn't an 11, I think, on that one. So you had to bump up a little bit above the grid, but you get the idea. So the slope here is -3. And remember that the slope is -3, but that's really like over 1. So it's down 3, right 1. So we go down 3, right 1, we keep going, and we're hoping we hit this other graph. Looks like we're going to, and we hit right here. 1, 2, 3, and I'm just going to do one more. Okay, so let me go ahead and graph my line. And, oops, hopefully I can straighten that out a little bit. Definitely when you're doing these, use your ruler, and we can see the intersection. So we have a single solution, and we'll go ahead and name the solution. This is at the point, this is 3 here and 2 here. So 3, 2 is my solution. Now what does it mean to be a solution? It means if I plug this ordered pair, x, y, into both the first and second equation, we're going to get a true statement. So let's try that. So here is our check. We're going to plug it in. So let me get my blue. And we'll say y equals 1/3 x plus 1. And now what we're going to do is we're going to plug in, remember we have the x and the y, the 3 and the 2. So I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to put a 2 in place of y. 1/3 times the x value, well, that's 3, plus 1. 2 equals 1/3 of 3 is just 1 plus 1. So I just did that, 1 plus 1. And 2 equals 2. So this means that that point actually does live on the blue line, which is great, but we need to make sure it also lives on that pink line. So let's check that one. Y equals -3x plus 11. Instead of y, I'm going to plug in 2. And instead of x, I'm going to plug in a 3. And now I check. -3 times 3 is -9 plus 11. 2 equals 2. So it works for both, which means it is the solution to the original system we were given. Okay, so this would be one that would be the foundation level. I'm going to do one that's the intermediate level, but if you want to pause and try this on your own to make sure you're really solid before continuing, go ahead and do that. Okay, so this is problem 2D. And this is, again, off the packet. This is an intermediate level question. Now, the reason for that is we see in this one here, we're not in slope-intercept form. Not a big deal, but we'll definitely want to do some adjustments for that one. So I am going to need to make a grid. You know what? That's fine. We'll just go with the flow here. No worries. And let's see. I'm going to start up here. So that's my X, that's my Y. All right, so let's go with the blue equation first. This is in slope-intercept form. This says start down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at -5, and then go up to right 1 or down to left 1. I'm going to use this as a grid line here, and we can keep going if we like. Okay, so I'm going to get my blue highlight here so I can draw my line. And again, you should definitely be using a straight edge, draw your arrows, and that's the first line. So not too crazy, it's in slope-intercept form, but then I look at this next equation, the pink one, and it's not ready to graph. So no problem. We want to solve for y. We want to get y alone. So let's think about our do steps. What was done to y first? And hopefully you see that this negative is being multiplied to y. It's really like a -1. So multiply by -1. That was the first do step. Then the other thing here is we added 4x. So how do I undo? Undoing plus 4x is minus 4x. And undoing multiply by -1 is divide by -1. So now we're going to actually do those steps. First step says subtract 4x from both sides. So we're left with -y equals -1 minus 4x. We're not done yet. It's not y equals, it's the -y equals. So we want to divide by -1. Now here is where we have our math is love, and we split those fractions, so be careful. So this, whoosh, gone, y equals, this will be -1 over -1, which is 1. -4x divided by -1 is 4x. And now I'm ready to graph. So for the pink, I'm going to start at 1. And then I'm going to go up 4, right 1. I'm kind of out of space. So I'm going to go down 4, left 1. Down 4, left 1. Down 4, left 1. And let's see. 1, 2, 3. I feel like I made a mistake here. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I did make a mistake. Whoops. I was going to say that didn't look like it was matching up right. And once you draw your line, you would notice it didn't match up right. So let me get rid of these mismarked points. 1, 2, 3, 4, and left 1. Okay, so now we're matching up. I'm going to go ahead and draw my line. Again, when you're using that ruler, if your line is not hitting those points where it should, you want to find out where the mistake is. So I kind of ran out of space here, but I can see the intersection point, so that's the good part. So that's what we're looking for. So we can say the solution is going to be, in this case, -3, -11. And again, we can go ahead and check this with both originals. So let's check it with the blue equation. The blue equation was y equals 2x minus 5. All right, let's plug in the x and the y. -11 equals 2 times the x. Well, the x is -3 we found, minus 5. -11 equals -6 minus 5. -11 equals -11. That works out for the blue line. It's a solution for the blue line. Now, for the pink line, 4 times the x, that's -3, minus the y. Be careful here. That minus is part of the equation. The -11 is the y coordinate, so be careful. So we get negative 12 plus 11 is supposed to equal negative 1, and in fact, it does. So by plugging in your solution to both equations, you can ensure that you have the proper solution. It must work for both equations. Okay, an advanced type of question would be one where both equations are not in slope-intercept form, and you would need to manipulate both of them before graphing. But essentially, you're doing the same thing. It's just going to take a couple more steps.